This is the manipulative tactic covert narcissists employ every time. Greetings and a warm welcome back to the Narcissist and Karma channel. So glad to have you again. As ever, your input and attention are truly valued. To ensure you won't miss a thing, go ahead and subscribe, then ring that bell. In this video, we're diving into a prevalent behavior of the elusive covert narcissist. So buckle up and let's get started. Hold on a sec. Before unmasking the one trait all covert narcissists share, let's first distinguish between overt or grandiose narcissism and covert narcissism, and shine a light on some red flags to identify covert narcissists in your life. Covert narcissism is a sneaky offshoot of the destructive narcissist personality, a monstrously diverse lot that spans the spectrum from glaringly obvious to frighteningly subtle. It's far from a one-size-fits-all situation. The destructive narcissist streak can manifest in people in various ways and extremes. Yet, the covert narcissists stand apart from their overt or grandiose counterparts. While overt narcissists flaunt themselves, covert narcissists tend to appear quiet, timid, or subtle. Although that's not their true nature. They'd fumble in social circles and often resort to manipulative, controlling, and emotionally withholding tactics, be it romantic liaisons, friendships, or family ties. Deceptively reclusive and private they are. Expecting them to share even the most ordinary, intimate details of their lives that one would freely disclose in a genuine relationship in good faith is like expecting mice in the desert. Playing their cards too close to the chest screams insecurity and shame, but there's more to it. In their twisted minds, they feel like puppet masters, omnipotent and superior, as they pull the strings, keeping secrets close. A facade of humility and modesty cloaks their true belief that they are superior and entitled to deceive others. These masterminds maintain the smallest inner circle possible, cultivating superficial friendships to cover their tracks. By keeping loved ones at bay, they minimize the risk of being exposed, and that is the game they play. And so, the mystique of the covert narcissist continues. Stay tuned if you're curious to know more about these enigmatic figures, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button and the bell to stay in the loop. Shrouded in secrecy and deception, these individuals work tirelessly to conceal their trails of hurt, misdeeds, squandered resources, and unraveled relationships. As empathetic beings, we can almost immediately sense their reticence to reveal their true selves. Personally, when connecting with such individuals, I find myself engulfed in an inexplicable sense of unease. This discomfort arises from the gaping abyss that pervades their inner world, a void that prevents a meaningful bond from forming. As empaths, we perceive this emptiness on an intensely visceral level. They feign interest in our lives, while their actions merely adhere to social niceties. Trust your gut instincts when you experience that perplexing, disconnected sensation. It may just be a red flag signaling the presence of a covert narcissist. On that note, let us embark upon another vital revelation. Their carefully constructed charade cannot withstand prolonged exposure. While they adeptly masquerade behind their disarming facade, an undercurrent of inauthenticity lingers. Spend enough time with them, and you'll begin to notice the glaring inconsistencies between what they say and what they do. Their hollow words crumble under the weight of their inability to uphold a genuine connection. Ostensibly, they project an image of care, respect, and love, but time reveals the frigid, uncaring truth. They are, at their core, deceitful liars whose trustworthiness remains in perpetual doubt, even with their own children or stepchildren. A stark contrast arises between their reassuring words and their actions or lack thereof, rooted in love, compassion, and empathy. To not be beguiled by their surface docility, it's merely smoke and mirrors. Their fragility. These individuals dexterously maintain an illusion of delicacy akin to a Mack truck. Beneath this crafted veneer, they harbor a belief in their superiority, which they wield to justify their capricious whims. Blithely, they make abysmal decisions, wreak havoc, and remain impervious to the impacts on others. They saunter through life, firmly convinced of their immunity to consequences or accountability. Imagine their astonishment when they are finally confronted by the repercussions of their actions, such as the moment when you've reached your breaking point and refuse to indulge any further. Narcissists are dumbfounded by your ability to pierce the veil of their benevolent persona. They struggle to comprehend your boundaries and limitations, ensnared within the throes of their deluded fantasies. The startling truth is that these individuals don't foresee any consequences for their actions. They firmly believe in their entitlement to do whatever they please, and are often surprised when faced with resistance or the aftermath of their misconduct. They continue to disappoint, overlook, and disrespect you without facing repercussions. If you express your feelings or opinions regarding their behavior, they react with shock and indignation. In their minds, their special status allows them to act as they wish, and you have no right to a rational emotional response or accountability for their deeds. Furthermore, they invest immense energy in masquerading as someone they're not, often a heroic or savior figure. They make an elaborate show of being benevolent, altruistic, and generous, though their true intentions revolve around manipulation and controlling yours and others' perceptions as the perpetual victim, rather than genuine kindness. So, what is consistent throughout covert narcissist behavior? Their skillful victim positioning, particularly presenting themselves as helpless amid problems they've created and maintained. They are like clockwork, embodying the quintessential helpless victim, an unwavering pattern, regardless of past transgressions. This remains accurate despite their countless mistakes, disappointments, and deliberate harm to others. They are masters of adopting the victim role in any scenario. Covert narcissists' deception lies in their convincing efforts to feign empathy. This master manipulator's sham can easily lure the unsuspecting in, at least during the initial encounters. Stay vigilant and learn the signs to recognize and handle the covert narcissists lurking in your life by paying attention to red flags and manipulative tactics. Mimicking empathy is their manipulative technique, unfolding like so. I feel awful, just terrible, accompanied by a barrage of excuses, justifications, and rationalizations to depict themselves as the helpless victims of circumstances they deliberately crafted. Such behavior is the hallmark of a covert narcissist. Their modus operandi is to establish themselves as pure-hearted and innocent, despite their malevolent actions. They'll go to great lengths to prove how wrong your judgments are and manipulate your perception of their motives. How many times must this cycle repeat before you recognize the pattern that they perceive themselves as victims in every situation? It doesn't matter how atrocious their behavior or how much they've contributed to creating and prolonging their supposed victimhood. The so-called misunderstandings will also betray them. You may feel baffled, questioning yourself and doubting your own reality as they twist and deny their previous claims, exactly what these covert narcissists intended. Misunderstandings occur in everyone's life, but a persistent pattern speaks volumes. It's time to confront reality. Either they have a mental issue requiring medical intervention, or are intentionally manipulating, gaslighting, and deceiving you. Covert narcissists are undoubtedly masterful manipulators, but knowing the signs can help reveal their game. It's natural that such deception is challenging to recognize, especially during the initial stages of a relationship when everyone presents their best selves. However, the covert narcissist skillfully manipulates and molds your emotions and perceptions with their masked false persona. Arming yourself with knowledge of the warning signs can dramatically alter your ability to identify a covert narcissist. To gain further insight into the mind of a hidden narcissist, watch this video. Remember, though, not to be too hard on yourself if you didn't spot the signs right away or took some time to realize something was amiss. Even the most knowledgeable mental health experts confess that identifying the signs of overt and covert narcissists can be quite challenging. I created this video to provide you with key indicators to help determine the true nature of the individuals you are dealing with and protect yourself from these toxic emotional manipulators. Detecting covert narcissism is arguably even more difficult than spotting its overt counterpart. Why is that? As mentioned earlier, covert narcissists don't come across as your stereotypical ego-driven show-offs. However, bear in mind that the reserved, self-doubting, or seemingly vulnerable narcissist is equally harmful as their more overt counterparts. Do your best to avoid them. They don't appear outwardly arrogant or boastful. Instead, they seem shy, insecure, and preoccupied with others' opinions. Driven by this obsession, covert narcissists work tirelessly to manipulate your perception of them. But beware, when you pierce their veil, they may react with anger and spite, and might strike back. Cowardly ones may attempt to poison others' minds to exact revenge. In this scenario, distance is your ally. Those who truly care for you will see through the covert narcissist's tales. It's wise to sever ties with anyone who takes the narcissist's words as gospel without question or discussion. Let them ally with the covert narcissist. Perhaps they deserve each other. Stand unapologetically by your true self and let go of those who leave your life, especially under such circumstances. Rejection can be a form of protection. Trust the divine to watch over you. Remember, beneath their facade, covert narcissists are deeply conflicted. Their emotional turmoil may be well hidden, but reflecting on those I've encountered, I can't help but sympathize with their plight as seemingly tormented souls. Nevertheless, it's crucial to maintain distance, as their apparently fragile and gentle facade is deceptive. In reality, they're wolves in sheep's clothing, masquerading as something they're not. When provoked, they reveal their true nature, characterized by entitlement, grandiosity, and a lack of empathy or conscience. Keep your guard up and remember these telltale signs. Though covert narcissists' grandiosity and delusions may be concealed compared to their overt counterparts, don't be deceived. Maintaining distance is still crucial. When interacting with a covert narcissist, it's important to recognize that they're essentially dealing with a deeply wounded inner child incapable of emotional, psychological, and spiritual growth. Despite efforts to seem like responsible adults, beneath the facade lies a starkly different reality. In personal relationships, they often resemble selfish, ungrateful children, constantly assuming the role of the victim. This description rings true for numerous covert narcissists I've met, including my own mother, who exhibited extreme and potentially malign traits. Covert narcissists' propensity to play the victim can create confusion, particularly if you possess high empathy and a drive to help others. It's easy to mistake them for untreated codependents with a few narcissistic tendencies. The situation is more complex than an insecure and deeply hurt codependent. A high empathy and boundary-deficient mindset easily falls prey to manipulation and exploitation, even when dealing with hazardous personalities. So, what should raise red flags? Covert narcissists' unrelenting victim mentality, for one. If someone you know consistently portrays themselves as a victim, despite countless opportunities, resources, guidance, and support, consider that they may be on the spectrum of destructive covert narcissism. Always be vigilant in detecting the telltale signs and keep your well-being in mind. It becomes evident when they continuously narrate their victim story while refusing to change their situation or address the issues they constantly complain about. This remains true regardless of the forgiveness or grace granted to them. These are the red flags you should heed. Conclusion. As I've mentioned before, just because someone has suffered narcissistic abuse doesn't imply they're a covert narcissist. There's a vast difference between acknowledging victimization for healing, moving forward, and improving one's life, and persistently living as a victim without making necessary changes. Admitting the unfortunate reality of experiencing narcissistic abuse, perhaps even from a covert narcissist, and being victimized differs significantly from deriving satisfaction from portraying oneself as a victim. It's essential to recognize the distinction so we don't confuse one with the other. We can't heal without labeling and facing the truth of our experiences, but that's just the starting point. If you're an empath, it's time to give yourself the gift of healing. I hope today's discussion has been enlightening. Please share your thoughts, experiences, or key takeaways in the comments. If you're new to my content, welcome, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications on new uploads. I'll conclude with this thought: recognize your worth and liberate yourself. Have a great day, everyone.